What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Roll With It, BJJ and Travel Podcast, where we don't just talk about rolling on the mats, but also rolling with the punches life throws at you. For this episode on the Women Empowered series, I had the pleasure of talking with Judo Olympic Sophie Cox, who I was also lucky enough to be tossed by a few years back in a Jiu-Jitsu camp. I hope you guys enjoy and learn some lessons. Sophie, thank you so much for coming out or answering my phone call. Man, I've been looking forward to this interview. It's been a couple of weeks, I want to say months, maybe in the making. But I met you a while back, like 2017, and really left a good impression. So, man, you're a black belt in Judo.
Yep.
A purple belt in Jiu-Jitsu.
Yep.
And then pioneered in a couple other things that I'm going to talk about later on, because I want it to be kind of a reveal. That when I found out this information, I was like, what? So, I had to do my research on you. But yeah, thank you so much. And what have you been up to? Like, I been trying to get a hold of you and
what have I been up to? So since June last year, 2019, I've been full-time working, and it's one of those things that I never really wanted to do. I've always been a little bit, or thought myself anyways, a little bit of a maverick, and then just, kind of like doing my own thing. So to be full-time employed and, sort of be at the beck and call of the man, has been, a change, a lifestyle change for me. So I'm now full-time coaching for the England judo team. So that's the youth team. It's under 18s, under 21s. It's all about, because judo is an Olympic sport, it's all about preparing those young athletes for the Olympic Games, really. Or, we are funded by the lottery as a sport, and a lot of it goes down to performance and medals, basically at the Olympic Games. Like what it comes down to, the nitty gritty. So as much as I want to try further down, the pathway, further down the pathway to give these young boys and girls the experience and a great time and enjoy judo and be really have this real positive life outcome for it, at the end of the day, we do get judged on whether we can produce medal winning athletes. So it's pretty full on. It's intense. It's a lot of traveling, which I've found balancing that with family life has been quite difficult, because I've got a little 4-year-old boy and a little girl who's going to be 1 in a couple of weeks. So spending time away from them is difficult, and they're always my priority. And then I've been trying to still keep my hand in with the stuff that I do with the female fighters, because I've built something up there, and my own training and things like that. I competed at the Euros in January after I was desperate to do a competition to get out and compete, and trying to get that training in and stuff like that. So yeah, I've been a little bit trying to spin a lot of plates, which it wasn't an ideal time for me to go, I'm going to take on this job role and this responsibility for the team, but at the same time it's an opportunity that I didn't want to miss up. I didn't want to pass on it, so it was one of those that I'm going to go, right, I'm doing it now, I'm going to get out of this, get my teeth into it, and worst comes to worst, I can always step back, but at the moment I'm on a roll. It's feeling good. We've got some good results recently with the young kids, and I feel like I can make a difference, which is, I guess, the most important thing.
Well, congratulations on all of that. First of all, congratulations on the job, but also, I know I sent you a message when you posted on social media about your baby girl being born, and I hear you saying that it's not the best time, but I believe you are one of the better qualified people to have that job, being an Olympic medalist yourself. I mean, where can a student learn better about what they're about to probably encounter than someone that's been there and done that,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think, not all former athletes or good athletes or good people make good coaches. it's definitely true. There's sometimes, one of these a great athlete will try and do the coaching and it just doesn't work at all. But I've really put the effort and time into actually learning the skill of coaching. Learning how best to facilitate a player and dealing with everything that goes with it, because the players, they work day to day with their own individual coaches, so I've got to make sure I'm getting them on board, talking to them, talking to their parents, trying to build the program that fits the lifestyle as well. There's quite a lot. It's not just about technical ability. But I've been working on my coaching career since around about 2013, since I retired, and I've just built it up steadily, really, bit by bit. I started right on the ground, working with little babies, going away on crazy trips, and really doing the groundwork. And I think it's paid off now.
Well, and your son Leo just had his first judo class not too long ago, right?
Yeah, you saw that. Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's so funny. They're just so funny at that age. And the guy who's coaching, I said to him, I said, listen, I don't want to step on the mat at the moment. I don't want to be that parent. So I just sit at the side and watch and just let him get on with it. And it's just great. The first session he just laid around on the mat, kind of rolling around and stuff. But now he absolutely loves it. He just throws himself into it, and it just makes me laugh all the time. Just if he's got a smile on his face, then I'm happy.
I love hearing that. So a couple years ago, I started my own program for a kids program in Jiu-Jitsu. And I'm about to start a new one at the new location I'm at. And that's always one of my things, like making sure parents understand that when their kids are on the mat, let them be my kids. Let me coach them. Let me instruct them. Let me be there for them. Because, sometimes parents like to overstand, and I don't know, I feel like it makes my job a little bit harder and messier when parents are too involved.
Yeah, no, it is. It's striking that balance. I think if parents, it's hard for parents, and now me being on that side as well. Obviously, it's quite interesting because I've experienced it from the coaching side with like parents sort of butting in and pushing too much and wanting to get too involved and stuff. So I'm obviously quite conscious of that. But yeah, it is. I look at him and he's doing something wrong or he's not paying attention. You want to go and say, "Hey, look, focus, go on, do it." But as long as I know that he's learning and he's learning in his own way, his own style, and he's enjoying it. So that's the most important thing.
Man, that's great. I mean, and also, I don't know your son's, he's little, so he probably doesn't know that his mother is like a crazy judoka, But I'll tell you what, I didn't know that either when I first met you. It was Copenhagen in 2017 was one of my first camps, and I remember seeing that one of the classes was being led by it was a judo class, and I remember it was going to be sacrifice throws, and that's not usually what I would do coming from a wrestling background. But I just wanted to learn from anything. Like, I just wanted anything that I hadn't heard of yet. I wanted to go try it. And I remember when I saw you walking on there, I was like, oh boy, this is going to be awkward because, the size difference.
Yeah.
And then I recall you actually hit me, and I don't know which exactly it was. Now, I can't remember exactly the technique you used, but it was kind of either a hikikomi gaeshi or a tomonage. I think that's
probably. I think, maybe a sumigaeshi. I think we were working, and then sort of where you come through through the legs in between. It might have been a tomonage, but I think it was a sumigaeshi.
Okay, and my wife actually recorded you tossing me because she was like, "Holy crap!" Like, she just tossed you, and I was like, "Yeah." I was afraid for her for like 2 seconds, and then realized, "Holy shit!" I should be afraid for myself now. But and I actually have one of my students who, I might have touched that throw maybe like 1 or 2 classes. I didn't want to like touch on it too much when I was teaching because I didn't know about it too much. I just knew what it felt like. But anyway, so she's hitting it like crazy now, and her parents like always send me videos. She's in a different location now, under a different school, but they always send me videos of every tournament, and that seems to be like her go-to thing. And I was like, well, I mean, at least one thing came out of all the I mean, she's a brilliant little girl, but I kind of found it amazing, and that's why I wanted to talk to people, because you kind of start putting the puzzles together in the big picture and realize that, man, somebody from, which by the way, I probably gave a horrible introduction about you because, again, your accolades are incredible, but to me, it's like someone from Manchester who I probably would have never met other than through martial arts taught me something that I was kind of able to sort of teach to one of my kids that's now somewhere in the East Coast of the United States. It's kind of incredible, the journey of that.
I mean, and that's the beauty of something like of the martial art world and judo, jiu-jitsu, all of them really, because obviously I've been passed on that knowledge by someone else, and it goes back hundreds of years where that comes from. It's like storytelling, isn't it? And then something else gets weaved into it, and someone has their own little style of doing it, and it's just a story that evolves. So, I mean, that's amazing to hear. It's fascinating because, I've obviously got it from somewhere. I can't. I've been through it so many years that I tweaked it and looked at it and gone, is this the best way to do it and stuff like this? And you'll have your own style of doing it, and she's probably developed her own style of doing that particular technique as well. So that's incredible. It's great.
Now, I want to touch a little bit on your Olympic experience. So I found 2, which was a 2004 in Athens. And then you had the 2016? 17?
2012.
2012, yes. Sorry, so many dates coming to my head now. But hey, so for everybody listening, there's a 10-hour difference between me and Sophie, and I'm working at midnight and she's working off in the morning. So forgive me for my mistakes and dates. But anyway, so 2004 and 2012.
Yeah.
Athens, and then you had the ones in the UK.
Yeah, so the 2012 was in London. Yeah.
So, you being from Manchester, I wanted to ask you, how was it, competing away from your home and then coming home?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, interesting, because we have the Commonwealth Games as well. They were in Manchester in 2002. And I got a bronze medal. So I was right in my hometown, that was right there, a big tournament. And it was just amazing. The sort of support and everybody knowing you and who you are, and this kind of just that incredible thing. Whereas, when I went to Athens, 2004, I was fairly young. I think I look back and God, I was so naive in terms of judo and what it all meant and how it was all about. I think I was 23 when I went there. It's not young, but for me, I look back and go, God, I didn't really know that much. And that was it. I don't think at that point, stepping onto that big stage, that I was really prepared for it. Even though I'd done a Commonwealth Games in Manchester, it just seemed like another level, really. Because I was one of the ones in the background. We had some big names fighting, like Kate Howard won a silver at the Olympics. We had, it's a lot of players who were expected to do quite well. Craig Fallon was flying at that time. A lot of players on the team, and I wasn't really one of the ones who was expected to do well at all. So I kind of went under the radar a little bit, which it was good in a way, but I don't think I managed to make the most of it. Like I say, just was a little bit naive, and I got to the quarterfinals, got to the final 8 there. And then lost to the girl who then went on to get the silver. And then I didn't really get my head switched on to come back and continue, because sometimes when you lose, you can fight again. And yeah, so I didn't feel like I gave it my best shot. So that was Athens. Maybe just a little bit along the psychological side of it. I wasn't mentally 100% prepared for that one.
Interesting. And then coming back to London, you felt because of the support, you felt better.
Yeah. Do you know what? Incredible support. I felt like I felt pretty much like I could do anything, and I'd really made it. But my problem with that was that I'd come out of retirement after about 5 years. I retired 2005. Came back in 2010, so I didn't really give myself enough time to really get back into full form. I'd got some good results, but I went out there. I felt strong. I felt fit. I felt supported, and then the way it goes, sometimes look at the draw, and I got the Korean girl first match. I lost on a small score, and then she went on to win it, Olympic champion. So it's one of those that just on the day anything can happen. I was disappointed. So it meant the disappointment was even more as well, because being at home with the support and the feeling and getting out there, and I was going to do it for the whole of the country. It meant that the come down was even harder as well. It's like I've just completely, ruined it, let everybody down, and it's just a disaster kind of thing. It was, it was the two extremes.
Do you feel like it helped the fact that the person you lost to was the one that actually won?
Yeah, first? A little bit. Yeah. In retrospect, looking back, I can kind of accept it a little bit. You just always go.
The sting is a sting,
what have I done that? Yeah. Oh, what if that? It's you get that, and that's the competitive side of me, and then the other side of me has gone, wow, how lucky am I to have been able to do that, been there. One of my friends' teammates got a silver medal, the other girl got a bronze. It was all together an amazing thing to have been able to be part of.
Do you feel that you are, now that you have coaching experience, do you feel you're a better competitor or a better coach? Or which one do you enjoy the most?
Which one do I enjoy the most? I'm slowly moving into to being more like I really enjoy the coaching. I mean, I've always enjoyed the coaching, but yeah, I've always wanted to do my thing as well. And I think it's important to keep challenging myself for as long as possible, sort of physically on the mat and stuff, because I understand, I can still keep understanding what those athletes are going through, what the players are going through when they're so I'm always learning. It helps me to learn actually doing it. So I think I am in a little bit of a unique position still, where I do try and do as much training and try and get out there and compete as possible as well. So it's and that's unusual for a judo coach, especially not in BJJ, but for a judo coach, you don't find many who do both the competing and the coaching. And I'm finding time-wise, my competing and training is getting less and less, unfortunately.
Well, and that was going to be my next question. So what made you want to transition to jiu-jitsu? Because, I mean, you say you kind of slow down on that part, but I mean, you're still competing a lot. I mean, I still see it a lot. You're still training quite a bit, and I still see you getting those medals out there, and they're not, Yeah. I saw your gold medal from not too long ago too.
Yeah, that was so I went out to the Euros in January. Yeah, it just gives me something. When I started competing jiu-jitsu, there's no pressure. It's nobody knew who I was really. I was a different. I was doing it for me, just the social side of things. That I didn't have to. I wasn't trying to win medals for, keep my lottery funding and things like that, and all that performance pressure that came with the judo. I could just do it in my own time when I wanted, and enjoy it. And people have started to know who I am and things like that. But I think, especially because I mainly fight masters now, there's again not so much pressure. It's more of a getting out there and just enjoying it kind of thing. So
Well, I didn't catch that drift. What do you mean? Because you're on masters now, it's not that much pressure. Like, wait a minute.
Everyone, all eyes on the adults, all eyes on the adult black belts and who's kicking ass there and stuff like that. We're masters. We just kind of swim along, do our thing. We might get a few medals, but it's not as big a deal, I don't think.
What masters are you?
So I'm masters 2.
Right. I was like, because, 1, 2, 3 still. I feel like, I think the masters is just there to kind of not put you against someone that's like, 18.
Yeah.
But still,
Hey, I'm not. There's some good competitors, absolutely good competitors, but I don't feel that it's. And when you go out there, you are absolutely trying to kill it, 100%. But I feel like, there's not the same kind of monetary rewards. There's not the same kind of like, you're going to be all over the BJJ Hall of Fame and stuff like that. It's not so much about that anymore.
So, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's a question that I always try to bring up when I'm, especially during this series. But so you mentioned the payout, and you're someone that's been, in the sport for a very long time. Mm-hmm. So how is the actual comparison of payouts between Jitsu and Judo for females?
Mm-hmm. It's different country to country. I know in the US, there's not much in the way of payout for Judo. It's a lot less than what you'd get to be a top level jiu-jitsu player. There's a lot more sponsorship and everything, private sponsorship. I think bigger money in jiu-jitsu. Judo, like I said, we were lottery funded, or we are a lottery funded, so that means we get money from the government if you're at a certain level. So there's different levels. So when I got into sort of the top 16, I'd be on so much. And then when I got into the top 8 in the world, you were on so much, that kind of thing. So you can earn enough to, and it's same for male and female. There's no distinguishing. It's just what level you are, because it's across sort of all Olympic sports. So it's what level you are. That's the money you get. And jiu-jitsu in this country is nowhere near the same kind of commercial pull yet as the US. So I would say, if you are the top level judo girl in the country compared to the top level jiu-jitsu girl, apart from someone like Fionn, you're probably on a par. Whereas Fionn now can just demand what she wants, really. If she wants to do any kind of shows and stuff, that's she's had to really smash it to get to that level. You know what I mean?
That's actually who I was talking about earlier when we were having the conversation of how hard it's been to try to get her on the show as well.
Yeah, she'll be a nightmare.
I think I've messaged her a couple of times, and she must have thought it was like spam or something. So I had to reach out to other people and be like, "Can you call her or like send her a message and like make sure she doesn't think I'm some kind of creep?"
Yeah. I'm sure she gets a lot of stuff. A lot of people wanting to talk to her now.
Right.
So she's done really well. She has, definitely pioneered the way, just to show that other girls from the UK can do that. But yeah, in terms of judo, say our most successful player at the moment, Sally Conway, got bronze at the last Olympic Games. And now she'll be earning a decent amount, but it's not. It's mostly through government funding things, and it's just so. It's just unpredictable. It could be, after the Olympic Games, if we don't get the right results, it could be all cut and everyone be on nothing again and start from zero. So,
right. Well,
I've just been lucky that I've been in the right place and the right time and been able to get the right results that I've always managed to earn enough money to keep me afloat from doing the judo.
Well, and in your hard work it's evident, with your trajectory and everything you've done. So, quick question. So you talked about, you have your son and your daughter, and so does your spouse train as well?
No, my partner, she's she's not interested at all. She's not bothered. It's quite interesting. That again the bounce. So I'm always going off to train and doing this and doing that. And sometimes I get that like, oh God, So what are you doing? Maybe I'll stay in tonight and you go out and do something as well. She's more into dance, and so yeah, she's not bothered about the jiu-jitsu stuff at all. She doesn't mind coming to watch. She quite likes that, but that's about it.
Hey, everybody needs a really good cheerleader, so.
yeah, absolutely. When she came out the first year, I went to Vegas for the World Masters. Her and my son came out. It was great. It was just really nice.
So I have another intriguing question. Since we were talking about the women pay and stuff, I found something super interesting. So this is the one thing that I was like, what? So I was going through your pictures, and I found a picture of a young kid
yeah,
playing rugby.
Yeah.
And I was like, that looks like her, but there's boys on the team. And I was like, I was like, no, maybe it was an homage to somebody or, brother or something that played. And then the more I looked into it and I did a little bit more research on other sites, and I was like, wait a minute. So, 1993.
Yeah, wow.
You were the first female to play. And let me look up the name real quick because I don't want to mess it up. But in the English School Rugby League.
Yep.
So now, after who lifted a ban? There was a ban that girls couldn't play on the team?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's one of those things that is written in the rules. So, in the Constitution it says blah blah blah, blah and games will be organised for boys, and this is what because this rugby's gone back years and years, 10 years, and it's just one of those real traditional men's sport, or has been. So it's just games will be organised for boys, and that's what it said in the rules in the Constitution. Now, little schoolgirl kind of thing. My dad was rugby mad, cricket mad, everything like that. We had a couple of girls playing on our little primary school team. We just didn't even think about it. Did not even cross our minds that at that age, boys and girls couldn't play together or shouldn't be playing together, because, first of all, physically stronger than the boys, or most of the boys at that time. A lot of the girls mature quicker, so we could easily hold our own. I was playing football, I was doing judo as well, so it's not like I wasn't being able to hold myself physically. So I didn't even think about it, and it wasn't until we got I got selected to play for Rochdale schools, because my little town then I got selected to play for that. I was the only girl who got selected to play for that. And then we got selected out of the hat to play at Wembley. So Wembley's obviously, the biggest sort of stadium in the UK for that kind of thing. We got selected to play in the curtain raise in front of the cup final. It was in the Sheffield schools, and it wasn't until that came around they're going, hang on a second, this S Cox, she's a girl. That's not allowed. The girls can't play with boys. And so it was just this, wow, hang on, it's in the rules. And just you think about the hierarchy, we talk about the old boys club and all of that kind of thing.
Right.
Just couldn't comprehend how a girl could be playing with the boys. It was just, this can't happen. So it's really, obviously I was 11 years old. I didn't have a clue. I just wanted to get on and play the sport that I enjoyed doing. But we had to go all the way through sort of the courts of law, right to members of parliament. I say we, people who were surrounding my dad, the coaches and stuff, right to members of parliament, and get it passed through in the House of Lords. This constitution could be changed, and all it needed to be changed was games will be organised for children. So I didn't distinguish between boys and girls, just children. But that was a change that until then nobody even thought about making. And then it's like, well, yeah, this needs to happen. This is, times have changed. We need to evolve. And since then, a lot more girls have started playing rugby. They have girls only teams, female only teams. It wasn't just since then, but it definitely helped that in schools, it was acceptable for girls to start playing rugby. And it's quite a big thing, I think, now.
Well, yeah, I actually love watching rugby, and there's a local team here that I kind of wanted to join, but I already have Jiu-Jitsu that gives me enough injuries, and I thought I better not. But I recall the first rugby game I watched was a couple years ago in Ireland, and it was a total fluke. My wife and I were there for a freaking holiday weekend, and the female rugby team had a game, and I can't recall who they were playing, but man, when we went to go watch it, I was like, what the fuck have I been doing this whole time? Like, this is freaking awesome. Like, I just couldn't believe I had not heard of rugby before, and also I couldn't believe I hadn't started playing. Like, I was like, that's the one sport that I was like, I wish I had started playing when I was younger. And but I mean, that experience on loan was totally amazing. We actually, I don't know how we got so lucky, but we got to meet the entire female team, and they like signed a rugby ball for us. Like, I think we just got picked out of the crowd, like, because we got, I have no fucking clue how that happened, but I was like, this is awesome. This is amazing. It was probably one of the highlight moments.
Yeah, you can still play. You still got time. We used to do it just as warm up, for judo. We'd throw a rugby ball around and do some two-touch kind of thing.
But I'm so competitive though. Like, I don't know if I could just do it like just for fun. I'd be like, all right, when are we playing like a World Cup? No.
There could be more women's teams around at the time. As I was transitioning sort of from, 11-year-olds. At 11, and when I went on to secondary school in the UK, there wasn't any teams then. That was the cut-off point for girls to be able to play with boys, and there wasn't many girls teams until you got to 16, and there was female only teams then. There was women teams. So I had a big gap between 12 and 16 where I couldn't play any rugby anyway. So I kind of went with doing a lot more judo, and that's when my judo career. I went down that path and had to decide at 16. I started playing rugby again and stuff, but it was, that was just for fun then. Whereas if there'd been a pathway for me, I might have gone down the rugby route. I might not have even been to an Olympic game. So I started played rugby instead because I loved it. I did love it.
Oh, I just love that. When I read that, I was like, man, I mean, physically, you're a small person, right?
Yeah.
But you were like breaking walls, like you were some kind of, I don't know.
Technique, isn't it? It's the same kind of thing. Like, it's how you apply what you've got, I guess. I was really kind of renowned for my tackling. So, hitting them hard, taking them down, it kind of goes with the territory, I guess.
But then, as I kept looking on, you have this other like quirky side of you, a softer side of you, huh? That likes to grow your own potatoes.
Because I like to keep hidden. Yeah. I've got this kind of idealistic, we should all be kind of looking after the planet and should be all about being sustainable. I kind of want to do my bit for the planet and things like that. And I believe that we could, harmony, and we should all be able to live in a better world. I do totally believe in that. I'd like to slow down the pace of life a lot, if I could, and just focus on doing that kind of thing. I think that's my dream. That's where I'll be in when I grow up. I'll kind of have my own little dojo and be able to, do all those little things that I like my own vegetable patch and creating little bits and pieces like that.
Well, I think we all should be aiming to go towards that. I mean, at least a little bit, something that I see a lot about you. You promote a lot of kindness in general for many different topics. So, I mean, I'm sure I could keep pulling out things that maybe you find interesting and that you feel that you would, and just like, by the way, happy belated birthday. It was a couple months ago, but, well, like 2 months ago, but, you also had that you dedicated your birthday fundraiser for dementia, so it's
sure.
so I see you share a lot of that kindness, and that's why I like to talk to people that have those kind of beliefs. I kind of started to try to get my own green thumb going.
It's harder. It's easier said than done. It takes actually quite a lot of work to get it right.
The first thing I did was grab a succulent because one of my friends told me, that they're super easy. And 3 days later, I was like, my succulent's dying on me. What am I doing? She's like, you're overwatering it. And I was like, oh, are you not supposed to water plants? They're like, not all of them. Like, do research.
Oh, no.
So,
you gotta do it. I'm looking at my dad's a proper green finger. He's absolutely loves it. He's really into his gardening, but he's just a doer, and he'll do it. I said, no, Dad, you've got to teach me how to do it. You've got to show me how to do it, otherwise I'll never learn. I'll just let you do it all the time.
But I think that's great. And I saw that you posted a picture of that too on social media, that you made your own dinner with the potatoes you had in your backyard. You said from tires or something like that. And I was like, wait a minute, I have a couple old tires there. Are they growing potatoes right now on their own?
On their own. Yeah. Okay. So, you've got a little way to go, I think.
Okay. I don't know. Maybe.
But I think I was always a little bit conflicted when I was an athlete, and I was an athlete for full time. I think you do have to be so selfish. And when I'm preparing for a competition, I'm not so bad anymore, but it's I'm doing the best that I can to make me the best that I can be. So you kind of, as much, I came out of that a little bit in my second time round. When I came out of retirement, I was a little bit more sort of helping the people around me on the mat as well. But I had that on the mat. I kind of had that it's type A personality. I'm like, right, boom, boom, I need to do this, I'm doing this, whereas off the mat, I kind of conflicted with my sort of happy-go-lucky, chilled, laid-back kind of personality as well. So, I was always a little bit in conflict. So I think that's why, I'm embracing the coaching side more and more now, because it still have to be quite, this needs to get done and we need to do this now, but it's for other people's benefit rather than just my own.
I'm so glad you're mentioning that, because the first couple of camps I went to, that was like my only source of me getting my training, because when I'd be back at home, I was teaching most of the time. So if anytime I'd go to a camp, I was like, I had to take advantage of training with as many people as I could, and try to get as much lecture as my brain would allow me to take in. Mm-hmm. So we met at the Zen Camp 2017. I mean, at the Copenhagen one.
Yeah.
And then again in Iceland camp. And then that was a different camp for me. That was the first camp that I had no tournaments to get ready for. I was about to leave Europe, come back to the States. So I was able to just have fun. And to me, that was one of the it wasn't the best camp compared to all of them. It was just a different kind of great again. Because I had I had nothing to get ready for. I didn't have to push the training as hard as I could, and it allowed me to get to know more people. Because that was the camp where some people were telling me, like, oh, you actually smile? And I'm like, yes. Like, what? Like, what are you guys talking about? They're like, you're always so serious in training. And I'm like, well, it's the only time I have. Like, I can't always socialize and, be going out every night and stuff, because when I go back home, this is, my training kind of stops. Not fully, but, you know. So I'm glad I was able
priorities, isn't it? Yeah, you've got to have priorities. Something you can't do everything all at once, but it's important to take time for you as well. It really is.
So, and I'm glad I got to, you know, see you at that camp again too, because it was great to, because you didn't teach at that one, right?
At the Iceland one, I think I only taught like one class at that one. There was a lot of instructors, wasn't there? So yeah, I did a Judo Gatami class in that one.
But I recall seeing you a lot more on the mat.
On the mat, yeah.
Training, yeah.
Yeah,
so,
I was doing my own stuff, yeah.
That was a lot of fun, you know, getting to share more ideas and such. And, but yeah, I mean, you're full of surprises with that. Like I said, when I found out about the rugby and I was, you know, because like I said, I saw that picture first and I was like, is she like paying homage to somebody or something? I was like, no. I was like, that looks like her. Like, it's gotta be her. So
yeah, it's funny because I've sort of migrated back to the small town where I started off. You know, my parents, they still live sort of 10, 15 minutes down the road. It's and still in Rochdale, you've got to think Northern England, industrial kind of town, really kind of like, you know, rough and ready, and they've got strong. It's all about rugby league up here, you know. Never mind the football. Yeah, it's all about the rugby league, just in this sort of northern patch of the world. And I'm still probably better known for playing rugby, you know, than I am for doing judo and going to the Olympics and stuff like that. Of a generation, if you think about it, so yeah, the generation that was there and were watching and things around about in the 90s who were involved in rugby, then they're all like, oh yes, of course, yeah, rugby girl, yeah.
So, any new projects now? I know you had mentioned to me you were working on a couple, but
yeah. So back in 2014, I ran a small camp for females only, and basically it was just like, come on, let's get together with a few mates and we'll spend a couple of days just training and stuff. And it's kind of evolved since then. And it kind of built it, and then last year I did the female fighters camp, call it now, and it's based in the north of England, and we had 60 to 70 women for the whole weekend, training and you know, high level instruction and stuff. In fact, the year before, that's when we had Fionn come and teach at that. We were lucky we could get hold of her, and then Vanessa English, another good girl, and then Sam Cook, who's famous. So, you know, I've been running this camp for a couple of years, and so that's the big project that's coming up at the end of July. So female only. It's for all levels, and it's for any grapplers as well. So judo, jiu-jitsu, and we've got some wrestling last year as well. So that was really good. But I want to keep going with that and promoting that. I you know, I've got my own little brand of rash guards and working on some gis and things like that. That's you know, I'm just interested in promoting that sort of side of things as well. So that's the main one.
And you also did your part in the Word Collective's
yes
online,
okay,
right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so we filmed that like 3 years ago. Before, you know, it's just taken so long. So
I didn't want to say anything, but I did notice the hairstyle was a lot different. I was like,
yeah, I got long hair and everything.
It was red too, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I think it was blonde. I dyed it blonde at that time. But so we filmed that 3 years ago with loads of filming on it. It was cool, and but it was just taking, I think, Stuart, who was doing it for the Warren Collective, he was still building the platform at the time. So I was actually the first one that we went through it. He did it with, and then actually he released quite a few more before he released mine. Because while I was filming it, or while we were filming it, it was, you know, the platform and everything to get the selling on and everything was still being built. It was just before the time where all the downloads and stuff were kicking off. So yeah, days ago. Did you see the John Wick stuff as well?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, Judo and John Wick. So we did that just as a bit of fun alongside it. I've also filmed something for, Rosie Sexton, who I mentioned to you before. She's got a company called Combat Sports Clinic because she's a qualified osteopath as well. And she does online sort of videos and tutorials. She's branched out into doing, okay, let's get some specialists in certain areas. So I've done some judo stuff for her as well. So hopefully that'll be coming out not in the not too distant future.
Well, that's the one I wanted to have you touch base on, because I saw that one, and I was the technique you were teaching on there. I thought it's a pretty good one, and I've been looking into the website a little bit, and it sounds like it has a good thing going.
Yeah. I think she's done a lot of work on it. I think it's a great idea. I struggle whenever I get injured. I've got a couple of physios, so I kind of like, I do. But if you go to that one person, you're gonna be sorted, and you know what you're getting. It's like, and she used to be Manchester based. Now she's moved down. Unfortunately, moved down to Birmingham, but it's a bit harder to get hold of. But you just know that that's going to be spot on. That is the advice that I will take out of everything else.
So, talking about moving on to another sport, I want to know, how big are you into football? And for American listeners, that's soccer.
Yeah, soccer. Yeah, football. Do you know what? For someone from England, I'm not really that bothered, because I just see it everywhere, and it just dominates, and it kind of gets under my skin a bit.
I've had enough of you. Turn off the TV.
Yeah, look at these people earning millions a week, and I'm just working my ass off on, fraction of that kind of thing. And how do you deserve so much? And I get the whole commercial draw, and football's a great business. It's done amazing work across the world, but it's just so out of proportion to everything else. And all you get, 10 pages of the newspaper is taken up by football. So, and before it was very, sexist. There's only really the women starting just to come through now. So I was not really into it because of that as well. But when everyone goes, oh yeah, I'm from Manchester, anyone across the world, oh yeah, Manchester United, do you like City United? I'm like, yeah, not really bothered. I kind of disappoint people in that way.
Well, I mean, our women's soccer team in the U.S., it's crazy, right? Because of the different countries, So for us, it's American football, which is, I mean, I don't even know what you guys call it, but for us,
American football,
yeah. So, but so soccer, it's there, but the men aren't that great. So because the men aren't that great,
women,
right?
Yeah.
So because the men aren't that great, the women weren't getting enough, support.
Sure.
And I think 2015 was a great year in the Olympics for the women's soccer team, and I think that's what really started the momentum. But last year just made a huge splash for them, and now it's it's good. It's going good.
Not just for them. Yeah, they did amazing things for women's football across the world. Again, and for women's sport and for the profile generally. Not just on a sporting base, but also that political sort of platform as well. Obviously, that was great to see. But yeah, I went to watch the final of the Olympics in 2012 between the US and Japan. I took to a couple of the judo girls. Kayla Harrison was there, and Martin Malloy, so both Olympic medalists. So I said, I'll get you tickets to go in and see it. So I watched that. So that was good, and that was there, but it was still quite young then. But yes, absolutely growing and growing and growing. So I'd watch women's football any day. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's one of those that my wife and I have been wanting to get. We're actually thinking about taking a quick trip to the U.S. just a weekend just to go watch one game because, I mean, we love sports. We watch almost every sport. I love sports too. I mean, I'll sit and watch tennis all day long if I want, and to her that's like the most boring thing in the world. But I enjoy sports, especially when women are making a big splash,
Yeah, Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah,
So,
well, I think
we do a lot of sports better. Come on. Like, you got to be honest. We do a lot of sports better.
yeah, I mean, it's a lot of still overcoming a lot of biases, but I think even judo now, you could just seen that shift just recently. I think maybe since the last Olympics, maybe about 2000, just on to actually the women are providing almost the better entertainment, I guess. There's the rivalries. There's a couple of really good, like, explosive players. Before, it always got looked down on because the standard wasn't as high, and mainly because there wasn't as many doing it. So you can only get 2 or 3 good players in each way. Now it's intense. I really have seen that shift into the equality in judo, and it's not there in BJJ. Obviously, we know that. But BJJ is 10 years behind judo in that kind of respect. But yeah, in the judo world, it's absolutely like, okay, there's a lot more respect for the women doing the sport there.
Well, and I think jiu-jitsu is not too far off from. I think because it is such a young sport in a way, it has the opportunity to start things right off the beginning.
Yeah. Do you think it's doing that though? Do you think there's a lot of, I see a lot of going, about equal pay and stuff like this, and
I don't think it's happening yet, but I feel with so many organizations coming up and and saying that they're willing to do better than the one organization that's the biggest, then I feel there'll be more pressure. Especially like with IBJF right now, I competed once just because I wanted to have that say I competed at Euros. But it's definitely not something that I'm willing to do, pay loads of money for someone that's not taking care of all athletes,
Yeah.
I mean, at least when it comes to ranks, if you can't pay all athletes, at least pay the black belt females as much as the black belt men.
Yeah.
Especially with people like Theon who are making big, like I keep saying, it's just big splashes. Like it's big hard to avoid.
People will tune in to watch that now. Not never mind anyone else. They'll tune in to watch her as well, as much as anything else.
Right, yeah. I mean, and that's what I saw. I mean, I have no idea who she was or anything. I just saw a couple of tournaments back to back, and her name kept popping up, and I was like, well, let me go look at some of her, watch some tape and see, what she's doing. When I saw, I was like, okay, wow. There's definitely a new standard out there.
Yeah.
But so conversation's great. I don't want it to end, but I do have one more question for you, and is, can we expect a comeback for any Olympics?
Oh, do you know what? The mind is, well, I say the mind is there. I go on and I train with the youngsters now and then, and I go, yeah, it take me 6 months. There's part of me that knows that there's something that I could do it, but it would just take so much dedication and time, and with a family and everything like that, it's not something that I'm willing to take a chance on, I guess. So in a word, no. as much as I would like to, I think I've got to hand the reins over to the generation that are just younger, fitter, and more. Just have the hunger, I've been there and done it. The hunger's not quite so much there anymore, and that counts for a lot.
Right, exactly. Well, I mean, and I'm glad we'll still be seeing you on the mats anyway, even if it's in a different sport.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have heaps to show there. I don't want to say proof because there's nothing for you to prove, but there's a lot for you to still show out there.
Sure. Sure.
If anything, at least show us how to grow some damn potatoes.
Yeah. I'll give you a step-by-step guide. Yeah.
All right. Well, this is usually the time where I'll let you give any shout outs or tell us about anything we should be looking out for you putting out or out in the world.
Yeah. So I guess two big things are the female fighters camp. So that's on www.femalegfighters.co.uk. There's all the information up there. There's not a booking price yet or tickets available yet, but they will be coming soon. There's the rash guards. You can see the rash guards on there as well for sale. And then the other thing is the download, the Judo series, Judo for BJJ. That's on the Warrior Collective website. You can order it from down there, and that's loads of techniques, loads and loads of stuff. There's absolutely a ton of stuff there. Really good. Good for just getting hold and getting some judo in your life, really. I think everyone needs a bit of judo in their life. And that's about it. And I've got, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm not the best on social media, but I do try and keep it up to date. I'm happy to talk to anyone and give any advice if anyone's got any questions.
And I know you have a lot of answers to a lot of things.
Yeah, well, I like to pretend to have, but yeah.
Well, thank you so much for making the time to talk to me and share some of your thoughts on this. And I really hope we get to see each other on the mat sometime again.
Yeah, we'll have to try and get to one of the Globetrotters camps. That'll be a good place to start, wouldn't it?
Yep, most definitely.
Yeah, so next time, anytime you're heading Europe way or I'm heading over that way, we'll definitely hook up.
All right, sounds great. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks. Yeah.